All right, so this video is intended to help you with this homework assignment. And in class, there were several of us who began to struggle with some things. So that's why I'm doing this. I really hope that you're watching this and you're thinking about it and you're considering what's going on. Also, those of you who are gone, I will go through that assignment, but not right now. But there will be, if you look at what the reteaching stuff is, that has some explanations, and yeah, that will be a video to help you guys out, but probably not until sometime tomorrow, because that's the best I can do. So write the ratio as a fraction in simplest form. So what stopped a lot of you is 198 over 110, and then having to simplify this fraction. So we know that because 198 is even and 110 is even, we know that we can divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. And so 198 divided by 2 is 99. 110 divided by 2 is 55. I can't divide these two numbers by 2 anymore because they're both odd. I can only divide the top one by 3. I can't divide the bottom one by 3. 4s are out, 6 is out, 5 doesn't work for the top, it works for the bottom, but not for the top. 7 is out, 8 is out, 9 works for the top, not for the bottom. 10 is out, but 11 will work. And so 99 divided by 11 is 9, and 55 divided by 11 is 5. So our fraction is 9/5. Over here we have 1,000 songs in 2 megabytes. So that means we're looking at 500 songs per megabyte. So 500 over 1, or just 500. Next, we have 26.1 miles in 3.6 hours. That's a marathon, by the way. I didn't realize that we didn't know that in fractions, we're not supposed to have decimals. So this was new to me that I didn't know that you didn't know that. So that's okay. What I can do then is we can stop and go, okay, we're going to multiply the top and bottom by 10 so that we get rid of the decimal. And so that gives us 261 over 36. These aren't even, so I can't do that. However, 261 is divisible by 3. And so we get, as well as 36, so we get 87 over 12. And then 87 is also divisible by 3, and so is 12. So 87 divided by 3, give me a moment, is 29. So we have 29 over 4. Then we have 12 completions to 28 attempts. So we're going to, both these are even, so we're just going to divide by 2 to the top and to the bottom. That gives us 6. Down here gives us 14. Then we divide the top by 2 again and the bottom by 2 again, and that gives us 3, and this gives us 7. So simplifying fractions is just a matter of finding common factors and pulling them out. If you knew that you could divide 22 out of 198 and 110, you could have gone straight to 9/5. If you knew that you could divide 9 out of 261 and 36, you could have gone straight to 29/4. If you knew that you could divide 4 out of 12 and 28, you could go straight to 3/7. I chose to go the long way because I think that some of you need to see it done very slowly. Okay, find the missing values in the table. I have 3 missing values, and I want to remind you that, again, to do something along the top, so let's say that this was, let's say that we had 2 and 3 and this is 8. So remember what I showed you. We'd go 8 divided by 2 equals 4, and then 3 times 4 equals 12. So that takes care of things that are missing bottom parts. Things that are missing top parts, I'll throw it on over here. If I throw on a number at the bottom here, yeah, you're fine. I'm just recording a video, so you can still come in. You're fine. Okay. All right. So if we have a number on the bottom here, like let's say it's 27. So again, we'd go 27 divided by 3 equals 9, and then we take 2 times 9 equals 18. So that's a simple way of taking care of these things, but now we've got fractions. Whoa, didn't mean to do that. Let me see if I can select annotations. There we go. Yes, I can, and delete them. All right. So we've got 3 numbers that we're missing. So we're going to do this 3 times, and maybe I should do it like this. For the first one, we're doing 8 divided by 4, which is 2. And then we're going to do 3/8 times 2, which is 6/8, or better known as 3/4. Now, it's up to you which number you want to do next. You can use the 4 to get to this blank, or you can use the 8 to get to this blank, but whatever the case, I'm just going to use the 4. So because this 1 1/8 is actually 9/8, that should come to you as no surprise, because 8 times 1 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So we're going to start off with 9/8, and we're going to divide 9/8 by 3/8. And that gives us 9/8 times 8 over 3. And then that gives us 3. Then we take that 3, and we're going to multiply it by 4. 4 times 3, and that's 12. The last one, you can either go from 4 to 16, or you can go from 8 to 16. It won't matter which one you choose. I wouldn't go from 12 to 16 because then you're dealing with 9/8, and I don't know. But for consistency's sake, I'm just going to take 16, divide by 4. That gives us 4. And then we take the 3/8 times the 4. And that gives us 12 over 8. That can be simplified because you can divide both the top and bottom by 4. That gives us 3/2. Okay, in the next one. The numbers are going to get kind of icky, but that's okay because we're just going to follow our pattern. So the first one, we're going to go from 6.4 to 10. So I'm going to go 10 divided by 6.4. I'm going to take a deep breath because it's going to be a nasty decimal, and that's all right. 10 divided by 6.4. Gives me 1.5625, and I'm going to multiply that by 4. 4 times 1.5625. So I take this number and I times it by 4, and that gives me 6.25. So this first value is 6.25. I need to get the number up top here now. Personally, I think it'll be easier to use the 10 because 10 divides things nicely. So I'm going to go 15.6 divided by 10 gives me 1.56. And then I'm going to take 6.25, multiply it by 1.56. I have a calculator, so the calculator will do this for me. we got 6.25 times 1.56, and that equals 9.75. To get this last one, we're now going to look at the top. I'm going to use the 6.25 and the 10 again because those just look nicer. There's something about the 10 that I like. So I'm going to go 25 divided by 6.25. So 25 divided by 6.25 gives me 4. So then we'll take 6.4, multiply that by 4. 6.4 times 4 gives me 25.6. All right. A water pipe leak floods 50 square feet every 1/5 of a minute. So what we want to find the area at what is the flooded area after 6 minutes. So we're looking at area in square feet. We've got 50 square feet there, and then we've got minutes, and we have 1/5 of a minute. Now we want to go from 1/5 to 6. So I wrote it out this way because we can do this problem in one of two ways. We could do it like this, where we stop and go, okay, well, if I could turn the 1/5 to a 1, then I could start just getting to 6 afterwards. So we could just go times 5 here and times 5 here. That would give us 250 here, and then it'll give us 1 here. And then we times by 6 to get the 6 minutes, and we time the 250 by 6 to get 1,500 square feet. If you don't like that, you could go area again and minutes, and what you could do is just what we did last time. You could go 50 and 1/5, and what you want is you want 6, and we want the area from there. So doing this way, we would take 6 divided by 1/5. 6 divided by 1/5 is 6 times 5, because the reciprocal, 5/1. So 6 times 5 is 30, and then we would take 50 times 30, and that would be 1,500. So we'd still get 1,500 square feet, whichever way you do it. You use 1/32 of a milliliter of essential oils for every 3/4 milliliter of avocado oil to make 150 milliliters of a solution. So we start off with essential oils, and then avocado oils, and then the entire solution. We start off with 1/32. We have 3/4, and then we have to add these two together. 1/32 plus 3/4. 3/4, we're going to get a common denominator of 32, so we're going to multiply the top and bottom by 8. And so we find that when you combine your essential oils and your avocado oils, you're going to have 25/32 of a milliliter. Now this is not easy to use, these numbers, so we're going to get rid of the denominators by multiplying through by 32. So this gets multiplied by 32, this gets multiplied by 32, and this gets multiplied by 32. Our results, essential oil, there's 1 milliliter of essential oils. Over here, 3/4 times 32. 32 divided by 4 is 8 times 3 is 24 milliliters of avocado oil. And 32 divided by 32 is 1, so we now have 25 milliliters of the solution. Well, we don't want 25, we want 150. So if we stop and I'll do some side scratch work here. 150 divided by 25 gives me 6. So I know that if I times 25 by 6, I get 150. So then I'm going to come back over here, times the 1 by 6. That gives me 6 milliliters of essential oil, times by 6 here, and 24 times 6 is 144 milliliters of avocado oil. You decide that you want to add coconut oil to the solution. You make a new mixture by adding 3/16 milliliter of coconut oil for every 1/32 milliliter of essential oil and 3/4. Okay, so we're now doing coconut, essential, and avocado. And we want to make a final solution of 15.5 milliliters. So final solution there. So we're going to go 3/16, 1/32, and 3/4. Now, to use the math that we've already done, we know that 1/32 and 3/4, that's 25 30-seconds. To that, we're going to add 3/16. 3/16, well, we need a common denominator of 32, so that's going to become 6 30-seconds. So we have 31 30-seconds of a milliliter of a solution. Well, again, we don't want that denominator of 32 there, so we're going to multiply through by 32 to each term, just like we did last time. So in doing so, 32 divided by 16 is 2, times 3 is 6. 32 divided by 32 is 1, times 1 is 1. And 32 divided by 4 is 8, times 3 is 24. And 32 divided by 32 is 1, times 31 is 31. Now we want to make 15.5. Well, 15.5, we get 15.5 by dividing 31 by 2. So just to make sure that you see this, 15.5 divided by 31 is 1/2. So maybe I should have written it that way. I know I'm not consistent and I'm trying to be better. So we're going to multiply everything by 1/2. By the way, if you don't believe me on this, because I'm worried that some of you don't, if you look at this, 2 times 15 is 30 plus 1 is 31 over 2. And then if I'm dividing by 31, that's the same as multiplying by 131, well, 1/31st. And so that does give us 1/2. So we're going to multiply all of these through by 1/2. So half of 6 is 3, so we need 3 milliliters of coconut oil. Half of 1 is 1/2, so we need 1/2 of a milliliter of essential oil, and 24 times 1/2 is 12 milliliters of avocado. So next one, ratio of white rice to water is 1 to 2.5. You have 2/3 cup of rice. How much water do you need? Okay, so we're going to go rice to water. So rice to water, we go 1 to 2.5. 2.5, though, I'm going to write as 5/2 because I think it's simpler. We have 2/3 of a cup of rice. We want to know how much water we need. So we're going to go, well, 2/3 divided by 1 is 2/3. And then we're going to multiply 5/2 by 2/3. And that gives us 5/3. Or to be consistent with the mixed number system, this would be 1 and 2/3 cups of water. Okay. Find the ratio, interpret the value of the ratio. So here we go. We're going to go flour to milk. So that's 3 over 2/3. That's the ratio. But that's actually 3 times 3 over 2. So that's 9/2. So we have 9/2 cup flour for every cup of milk. Milk to water is 2/3 to 1/2. So that gives us 2/3 times, we flip the fraction, that's 2 over 1. So that's 4/3. So we're looking at 4/3 cup milk for every cup water. whoops, flour to water. So flour is 3, water is half cup. So we're going to go 3 times 1/2 reciprocal is 2, so that's 6. So that's 6 cups flour for every cup water. And then butter is 3/4 cup. Milk is 2/3 cup. So we're going to go 3/4 times 3/2, which is 9/8. So we have 9/8 cups butter per cup milk. Number 5, you have green fabric and purple fabric in a ratio of 1/3 to 1/6. Your friend finds the value of the ratio. Is your friend correct? Well, we look, our friend has this weird step here where they've got the division and then they've got the answer. I don't like that because what we know is we've got 1/3 divided by 1/6, and that would be 1/3 times 6/1, which is 2. So your friend is not correct. The ratio is 2. Maybe I should say 2 to 1. Okay, we're filling in blanks again. We can do this. We're going from 2 to 4, so that's 4 divided by 2, which is 2. Oh, sorry, we're not going from 2 to 4. We're going from 4 back to 2. So we're going to go 2 divided by 4, which is 1/2. And so then we're going to take 10 and multiply 10 by 1/2, which is 5. So if you look, there is a pattern here, and some of you see the pattern, and that's great, but some of you don't. So we're going to go, I think it's easier to go from 5 to 15 than from 10 to 15. So I'm going to go 15 divided by 5 is 3. And so then we go 2 times 3 is 6. And then the last one, we're going to go from, I'm going to go from 4 to 8. So 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 10 times 2 is 20. You could have gone from 2 to 8 as well. Heck, you could have gone from 6 to 8. But I chose what I chose because I chose it. So next, 6 to 12. So that's 12 divided by 6 is 2. And then we go 1/3 times 2 is 2/3. We want to go, I want to go from 1/3 to 1. I think that's easier. So 1 divided by 1/3, which is actually 1 times 3/1, which is 3. So then we're going to go 6 times 3, which is 18. And for the last of these, I'm going to go from, I'll just go from 6 to 24, just to keep it simple. So 24 divided by 6 is 4. And then we're going to go 1/3 times 4 equals 4/3. Or 1 1/3 if you really want to. All right. Well, let's go from 5/4 down to 1/4. Let's do that one first. Why? Because I think it'll be easier. That's my personal opinion. Again, that's just me looking at the problem and liking that one first. So 1/4 divided by 5/4 gives me 1/4 times 4/5, which gives me 1/5. So I'm now going to multiply 15 by 1/5. and that's 3. So now I can go from 3 to the 6. So that's 6 divided by 3 is 2, and 1/2 times, or sorry, 1/4 times 2 is 1/2. Then, last of these, I can go, I think it's actually easier to go from 1/2 to 1 than 1/4 to 1. It's up to you, but I'm going to go 1/2 to 1. So 1 divided by 1/2 is the same as 1 times 2 over 1, which is 2. And then I'm going to take the 6 times 2, which equals 12. All right, next table. Well, we have to start at the 1/3. So 1/3 to 2/3, we go 2/3 divided by 1/3, which is 2/3 times 3 over 1, which is 2. Then we go 8/3 times 2 is 16/3. Next, I'm going to go from 1/3 to 1. So 1 divided by 1/3 equals 1 times 3 over 1, which is 3. We're going to go 8/3 times 3, which is going to just be 8. The last one, I'll do down at the bottom here. Whoops. The last one, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to go 4/3. I'm going to go from 1/3 to 4/3. And so I do that, divide. So we got 4/3 times 3 over 1, which is 4. And then we have 8/3 times 4, which is 32 over 3. So 32 over 3. So there we go. You mix 1/3, oh wow, this is very close to, oh wow, okay. So you mix 1/3 cup blue paint for every 2/3 cup yellow paint to make green paint. You use 4 cups of yellow paint. How much blue paint do you use? Well, we don't need the green paint this time. This is just a blue and yellow. So blue, yellow. So blue, we've got 1/3. Yellow, we've got 2/3. And then we've got 4 cups of yellow. So we're going to do this the way we've been doing it. 4 divided by 2/3. We want to know what we'd multiply to go from 4 to 2, well, from 2/3 to 4. So we go 4 times 3 over 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, times 3 is 6. So we multiplied by 6. We sextupled our paint recipe. And now we're going to go 1/3 times 6. 6 divided by 3 is 2, times 1 is 2. So we need 2 cups of blue paint. The last problem here is you mix a 1/2 cup of oats for every 1/4 cup of honey to make 12 cups of granola. So we want to get to 12 cups of granola. The first thing we've got to do is add these two together. So 1/2 plus 1/4, that makes 3/4. Then we don't want the denominator anymore because that gets a little confusing. So we're going to multiply 3 by 4 to each of these. 1/2 times 4 is 2. 1/4 times 4 is 1. 3/4 times 4 is 3. We want to get up to 12. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So we're going to come back through here and multiply each of these by 4 again. So 2 times 4 is 8. 1 times 4 is 4. So oats is 8 cups and honey is 4 cups. Hopefully this helps you out. I want you to be successful. Take your time and think these things through.